There it goes. Hello everyone. How are you? Now, granted, I wasn't prepared to film a video at all, but I've been trying to figure out this video that I filmed on my phone quite a long time ago, and been going through footage to figure out and make sense of it for you, because it is a rambling video and you probably can't tell in this light, but yes, my color is slowly going away. Sad face. But I'm gonna get it touched up, I think, because I'm not quite over it yet. I want color life a bit longer, so we'll see what that turns into. But anywho, I've been trying to get through all the rambling and everything, and like I said, I filmed it on my phone one night, and obviously it's when I still have my brown hair. So there's really good points that I make in it, but unfortunately I'm not even through a whole bunch of it even, but there was some really good points in it, and I feel like I'm gonna throw those points in the video, in this video now, as highlights or in like pieces and parts, and I'll just give you the full thing right here in general. Basically, in all this rambling mess, I started talking about relationships and manners and just those two types of things really, and telling you just a little bit about myself. So with that being said, when it comes to relationships, right? Obviously, I'm not that experienced. I've been single most of my life. I don't even really count on the, date, hangout thingamabob. You guys know that story. So, I don't really count that. But, as you all know, it was something. And again, I'm filming during the day, so I don't know how long this sunlight is gonna look like this. So. But with relationships, something I never understood was being forced into one, or feeling like it was forced into it. I never understood it. I never really got it. And again, this is my personal opinion. I just never got it. Like, why are you getting into a relationship with another person if you don't even really like them in that way, friendship or relationship? And again, this is not gender specific or person specific at all. It happens to all of us, and it's just like, why am I forcing someone into a relationship with me who don't even have those feelings for me, is what I'm getting at. Like, if I've always said, like, why am I forcing someone in a relationship with me, kicking and screaming and all that jazz. I've always said, kicking and screaming and all that. I've always said that about relationships, because personally, I want to be in a relationship with someone who accepts me for who I am. And I'm talking about all of me. You're stuck with this the minute you choose this. Alright? I just want to make that clear. My quirks, my flaws, what makes me beautiful, and everything else. So, and it does makes me, ugh, I do that too. When I mess up talking, you'll understand that I make a noise. But yeah, I never got it in any stage or any age. I don't get it. I understand that obviously you get lonely and everything else and you need somebody there, but don't force it. Don't force it on a person. I mean, if they genuinely want to, test the waters and see how it goes, that's fine. But if you don't feel it with that person in, like, I feel like in a matter of days or a week or however long it takes you to fall for an individual or attract them or find them attractive or whatever, I'm just not a person that feels like it should be forced upon another individual to succumb to, I don't know, your needs and wants. Like saying you're ready for a relationship, but they're not. Don't make it forceful or awkward or anything else. I personally see that as a fail at the beginning, because again, you're getting this person who you really like or attractive or whatever the case may be, but you don't know how they feel, and therefore shit gets messy. You get a muddy puddle in a sense. So why are we forcing something that you don't feel is right? So that's basically my take on relationships. I just never understood it, and it doesn't make sense to me. Because like I've said before, I personally want someone to love all of me, not parts, all. If you want me, you're getting all of me. And that's it. But yeah, whatever. Another thing to note is like when it comes to like all these new names or whatever, like friends with benefits, that's always been there. Been a thing there, you're in a relationship or you're single or you have friends with benefits. That's usually kept things pretty simple. But now there's like these things called situationships and some other whatevers. Oh, open relationships. I mean, do what you will. I'm not your mother. You're a grown person. Do what you want. But what I think about, and I'm not saying like people who do that stuff don't have any morals. They most likely do, but I'm just saying, what do you think happens when one of you catches the feels and the other just got what they wanted and was done? Like, what do you think happens to the person who caught the feelings? You know what I mean? I mean, that's another question. Like, does that bother you? Do you think about them? Or does it not bother you at all? Because to me, it would bother me. I'd be like, oh shit. But to each its own. Do what you like. You're a grown adult. But that's what I'm meaning. Like, I feel like there's some confusion in there. And it's kind of like, how did something simple get so complicated now? And especially for like people who are still single, it's a little hard to find someone because there's not a lot of people who don't who don't go like that, who don't open relationship or situationship or whatever you want to call it. Like, There's people out here who really, really want a sturdy, stable relationship, and it's hard to find a little bit. I mean, you can say a little, you can say a lot, however you would like to say it, but it gets a little hard because you don't know. You don't know. That's all I really have. It's like you don't know. And again, how did something pretty simple get so complicated? You know? These are just things I think about, and this is blabber. So, if you don't want to talk blabber or listen to it, I'm sure there's someone else you can watch. I am not I personally don't get hurt, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, I want to grow my platforms as a family, and I want to give you any advice that I can give, or if this sounds like wisdom to you, there you go. But again, we're not perfect people. We make mistakes. We make wrong decisions. We say wrong things. I have said wrong things. And like everybody else. So I'm trying to think of I've gone through this footage, so I'm going off of the knowledge I said in there, and I'm trying to make sense of it here right now for you, so you don't have to watch confusion. Let's see. But yeah, building a bond is what I think is more rare and what is more desirable than just this is good enough, you know? I mean, that's me. That's me. You don't have to agree with me. You can disagree with me. You can do whatever you want. You can have a discussion in the comments. What you think. Because there was a situation I was in when I liked another person and they didn't put any effort in, and it felt very one-sided, and it was probably pretty clear that I liked this person more than they liked me, maybe. Who knows? But they left me with no communication of what was going on. And I was just left high and dry with no explanation whatsoever. And it sucks because there was a point where I messaged them and I was like, let's talk. I think that's what I said. Let's have a talk or something like that. Because we need to know what's going on here. And therefore I was left high and dry with no explanation, no apologies, no nothing. But at the same time, I personally nowadays, if you're not going to give me a genuine apology, I'm good without it, bro. I'm good without it, because I've had that happen to me as well, where a friend, not a friend at all, really, this individual took advantage of me and they didn't give a shit. And when they came to apologize, because I went to friends and crying and asking them for advice, they gave me a weak apology and they gave me a fake ass hug. And again, I didn't take that. I was just like, meh. So I'm gonna take an apology if it's genuine. If it's not genuine, you can keep it. You can keep it. And maybe you guys see it in this video, maybe, or wherever, but I've been doing a lot of healing. I've been doing a lot of growing. So that's the attitude you're getting. Trying to think what else there was. But yeah, communication is very important in all aspects. So I'm just going to say that and leave that at that. But another thing that was something that I was talking about was like manners and like I can't say this word, chivalry. It means the same thing as having manners. People sometimes say chivalry is dead, which means like, yeah, no manners whatsoever. That's another thing. It's like I saw on a TikTok that popped up on my For You page, like everybody else's For You page. But this one was talking about more like manners and chivalry is dead and all that kind of stuff, because the person was touching up on that people who like, you know, push your chair in for you, like, and like opening doors and just holding a door open for you. And again, this is probably not all people or all individuals, but it's like, let's say a man opens a door for a woman and she walks in saying thank you, and then he walks in after and says, what do I get? That's kind of what they were touching upon, as I kind of remember, because this video was such a long time ago. But it got me a bit upset, because it's like, firstly, that's just a nice thing to do, opening a door for someone, no matter who it is. I'm gonna grab a water bottle real quick. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, like this person in their video was touching upon that, and I'm like, again, that kind of made me upset, because it's like, that's just a nice thing to do. It's just opening a door for someone or holding a door open for someone and expecting just a thank you. You don't, why do you need something in return the minute you do a nice thing? It's what I'm getting at. Because to me, if someone opened the door for me, I'd be like, I say thank you. Said thank you. But if they were to turn to me and be like, what do I get? I would literally look at them like, excuse me? What? Like basically those facial expressions. Because to me, that's just being a nice human. And a simple thing to do for people. You know, you don't have to overly do something and you don't have to do something nice and expect you're going to get something in return. That's not, like, to me, why? Why? Because, again, that's just being nice. And it's a simple thing to do. So, do it. It's not hard. It's not a hard thing to ask for. And again, the only thing you need to say is thank you to that person. Or if, you know, you're the person holding it, and that's all you should expect. Why do you need something in return? Just a whole nother thing where I'm like, really? Why? Because again, like, you know, pulling out a chair for someone, they sit down, scooching them in, holding a door open, and I can't think of a whole bunch of other things, but like, you know, why are you, again, general talking here, Why are we expecting something in return for just doing a nice thing? So that's a whole nother thing that I was talking about. And it was, again, why are you expecting something in return for something that's nice and simple? Is the lighting okay? I just had to check that a minute. But yeah, I don't get that. Why? Why are you expecting something out of doing just something nice and simple? Just another thing that I'm just like, why? Why? I don't know. I don't know either, bro. So, but just another thing I touched on, or was like talking about myself in these situations, is I don't, and just situations and experiences I've been through, I'm a very kind-hearted person. And I think I shared a TikTok of audio I did that was it's on my Instagram and on my TikTok. And it was a sound just basically talking about people who have a huge heart. And I am very much that person with a huge heart, because I care a lot and I want to see people succeed and get what they want, that they deserve. That's a better word. Like, they've worked for this thing that they've been wanting, and they get it and succeed at it. I just want people to succeed. And I'm just a very caring person. I like literally, if I'm having a conversation with someone, I don't look, and for some of you, this might be awkward, or it might be like, I don't know. But when I talk to someone, when I have a conversation with someone, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not picking it up in between what you're saying. I'm personally looking you dead in the eyes with eye contact and talking with you. Especially if you say, hey, Hannah, I'm really nervous for this thing. Can I have some advice, or can I talk to you about something? Or like, if you're sad about a situation, Hannah, this really makes me upset. What should I do? Like, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna be present with you. I'm not looking at anything else but your two eyeballs and comprehending what you're saying so I can give you a proper conversation. And I feel like sometimes that's scary for people, which is okay. But that's how a conversation's supposed to be. Because when you're doing this, personally to me, checking your phone in between what I'm saying, I've learned over the years that if you're not gonna listen to what I'm gonna say, meaning you're talking about something else, you're doing that with your phone or whatever the case may be, I'm just gonna stop dead in my tracks of the conversation. Because from that, to me, you're saying from those movements, to me, when I'm talking to you, that's saying you don't care what I have to say and you don't want to listen to what I have to say. So I've learned if you're not going to pay attention to what I'm talking about and what I'm trying to talk about with you, I just stop the conversation from there and I do my business. I don't even want to talk to you. Because, again, from those movements, you don't care about what I'm saying. So, you don't get to hear the rest of the story or whatever the hell I was trying to tell you. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry, but if you're not going to pay any attention to what I have to say, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop the conversation. I'm just going to stop talking, and whether you notice it or realize it or whatever, have you, like a minute after or whatever the case may be, and you ask me about it later or whatever, meh. Yeah. But yeah, conversation is definitely key. Definitely key. And it's a key that we don't always acknowledge when we're talking with another person. With any person, whether it be romantic or not, or whatever the case may be. Conversation is key. But with that, like, I'm not good at telling people or opening up to how I feel. It's not easy for me to conversate how I'm feeling, if that makes sense. I'm not very open to that. I'm open to, get my feelings out there, but voicing how I feel can be hard for me sometimes. And I've learned that from my past situations and experiences, because especially with situations and experiences from my past, there was a point where I was not okay. I was not okay. And instead of acknowledging that feeling and voicing that feeling, I never said stop. I never said no. I never said that. Because I never felt, this sounds so sad, but I never felt I could. Even though I definitely think you guys should. I'm the type of person that has always put others before myself. I don't know if any of you are like that as well. That's just something that has just been me. But yeah, I've never said stop. I never said no. And I've ignored my intuition when something doesn't, again, my intuition, my feelings, I've ignored them. I've kept them inside. And you want to voice that. Like, I don't voice much of how I feel in that moment. And I need to. And from that, like, boundaries are very important. And I'm learning that as well. Because that goes hand in hand, I believe. I didn't have boundaries. Because when I was younger, a kid, I was very sociable. I was a free spirit. I'm still am a free spirit, but I go with certain things more cautiously. And I think it is because of those past experiences and situations that I approach things with a little bit more caution. Because I don't want to be taken advantage of. Because I have. I've been taken advantage of, and it sucks. It sucks when you're taken advantage of, when people see your kindness and how big your heart is, and they just don't appreciate it, and they forced whatever they're upset about onto you. They project it onto you, and that's, again, that's not fair. I understand that's how you might express your feelings. But again, that's not, you need a different outlet, because other people are not your human punching bag. And I was that for a while, and it ran me down. People, I always call it back to as a battery. I'm a battery. And there's only so much you can give yourself to. And I didn't have boundaries really back then with certain individuals around my space. And I'm learning that I need boundaries now. And that's okay, because we all learn at different points, and we understand what these lessons and trials and obstacles do to make us grow into the person we're supposed to be. So it takes me a while to open up to people because of those experiences, and why I'm more cautious, and only give my time and energy to certain individuals. Because again, I'm a big-hearted person. I want to see people succeed. I want to help in any way I can, but it's also the factor that I also need to put some of my own energy into myself, which I don't always do. But regardless of all of that, I don't want to get too deep here, but those were all the key points. I'm learning to express how I feel about something instead of ignoring it. But I think that's all that was to talk about. I'll put some highlights of the actual conversation that makes kind of sense in here. Also, this is just a side note and pretty cool. It's pretty cool. If you don't know, I'm a very big Harry Potter fan. I grew up with Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean and just those universes and other universes. But where was I going? I don't know what. Oh, and I've been getting into like Fantastic Beasts. I've seen those movies. And that day that I actually filmed this conversation on my phone, I came back from watching that movie, the newest one, which is like Dumbledore's Secrets. And what I learned, the technique, is a crab dance. A hip swivel can save your life. If I can find something, but I don't want to get copyrighted by YouTube at all, but I really it's really funny. A hip swivel can save your life when you're dealing with a whole bunch of crabs. And if you've seen the movie, you know what scene I'm talking about, and if you don't, that's okay too. And obviously, if the world of Harry Potter or some of the other universes that I mentioned you don't know a thing about, that's okay. I'm a nerd. I grew up a nerd. I've been a nerd. So, okay, I hope this was a clear explanation. Again, I'll put some key points that I thought made sense maybe in this video. So, it'll probably be the next clips after this. So, I hope you guys are doing well. You're all amazing. And again, subscribe if you want to subscribe and grow this little family. Again, you don't have to. It's always optional. You can subscribe and unsubscribe if you wish to. You can like or dislike. It's totally up to you. You're a unique individual. And if you listened all the way through and you get to watch these next clips, who knows, maybe I'll do myself a little crab dance at the end here. Who knows? The limits are endless, and I love you all. And you're beautiful, you're creative, you're unique, you are amazing. And the impossible is possible. You just gotta believe in it and believe in yourself. Alright, see you guys soon. Okay. Hopefully I can get my words out. Twice is a charm. No one says that, but I don't know, I just feel this type of way, like it's hard to measure out a factor. Like, how do you know if someone is putting in the same effort as you do? But it just, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I am. It's just like, why am I putting so much effort in, and like what feels like, again, I want to say feels like because you never know, and what feels like it's not being returned. I don't know, I guess that goes in with communication too. I've been in a situation where I was just left high and dry with no explanation at all, and it felt very one-sided, and it's just like, am I asking for this again? I guess you can say I'm more cautious now like that, because it's like, well, I don't want to put all of my heart in something if nothing is going to reciprocate. Why would you force anything? Because I feel like, yeah, you get that moment or that time, but what happens when something like a breakup, or you're just one of those people who got what they wanted and was done? Like, what do you think happens to the other one? Obviously, this is non-gender or person specific, but what do you think happens? Or does it not faze you or bother you? Because to me, I always think about that, like, but again, I have always been that way. I have always been the type of person to put others before myself. And because I want to be helpful. I want to help people. Because I think part of the reason is because I am a kind-hearted person. I have a huge heart. And I feel like some people see my kindness as maybe an opportunity, or they see it as weakness. Whatever the case may be, obviously it varies from person to person. And I've also learned a very hard lesson throughout my life that not everyone, I've touched on this before, not everyone has the same intentions as you. So you gotta go in kind of cautiously, which is probably why I'm so cautious, because of those experiences of being taken advantage of. You guys probably, again, with these, I think I'm trying to branch out, like you guys get to know me a little bit, because again, I'm kind of hard to get to know. Just because I'm more cautious of the experiences I learned from. But being cautious doesn't mean don't try. You know? Try, give it a go. Give it one more day, give it one more time. Guy, girl, girl, whatever, mixture, whatever you're into. I think it's a really cool idea. If they ask you what you want to do, I just think it's a good idea or experiment to let them decide, let them choose on their own, because then it gives them the opportunity to show you what they can do or think of outside of the box. Because yeah, you can go out for dinner and a romantic dinner or whatever, but that's basic, that's boring, that's traditional. To me anyway, that's just really basic. Like, maybe that's just the person I am. I just want to do something. We go with what's comfortable, and it's just like, let's get out of that. Let's be creative. Let's do something cool. Let's do something different. And it doesn't have to be extravagant. You don't have to take them on a wild vacation or anything. Just something cool, something different. Because that, I promise you, that's what's going to be remembered, is how different and unique and creative that date was. Because that's what's going to be remembered for us. And make it a surprise. Like, you can make it a surprise. You don't have to tell the other person. Just say, I have something really cool planned. And they'll be like, that will get their curiosity going. You know what I mean? Just get their wheels turning. Because they're going to think all different kinds of shit. Like, oh my god, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it's going to get them excited because it's something like, yeah. I feel like it would be surprising for both ends. And then you'll see a different outcome, I think. And here's the thing, you can do one thing, you can do two things, you can do multiple things. Like, it really is, the world really is your oyster. You can discover so much. And this world that we don't discover enough. Discover, explore enough. Like, there's so much hidden treasures and everything. It's just like, huh, that was cool. But yeah. Whew. Sorry, sneezed. Wait. Gotta sneeze again. It looks like I'm dabbing. Sometimes you can't help you can't help who you, what's the saying? You can't help someone if they, like, you can't help someone if they don't want help. You know, help, you know, you can't help someone who doesn't want help or refuse help. And you have to live with that. And it's sometimes hard for us because, like myself, I care so much to the point where I do want to help, do everything I humanly can to help you. But there is a point where there's help and then there's taken advantage of, which I have hanging out, and then it just goes up from there. Because, and just talking about anything similar too, it's like similar interests, similar, you know, it's, I guess I'm an old soul, but like, I'd rather have someone who, you know, get to know and everything, and we build a bond together instead of just whacking it together. This is good enough. You know, again, my videos are never perfect, especially these talking ones when I